What's good YouTube, Ben here, welcome to the next video on the channel. In this one, I'm going to give you another old school RuneScape free-to-play money making guide. This one's called Beads Equals Profit. Let's get into this. Alright, so it's been a while since I've done an old school RuneScape free-to-play money maker. This one has almost no requirement other than you need to trade on the Grand Exchange and you need a little bit of combat. I highly recommend magic for this, which I'll go into in a moment. But basically, what we're going to be doing is going south of Falador's entrance and just fighting imps, which can drop either a yellow bead, a black bead, a red bead, or a white bead, which are actually decently profitable on the Grand Exchange, and especially for low levels. So we're going to be going this way out. Now, the reason why I recommend using magic for this is range can be expensive even at lower levels, and with melee, you have to keep running towards the imps every time you want to attack them. But for me, you can see from a distance, especially if you use Rune Light, or they will just come to you like that. So we've got a cabbage for that, which you can take if you need food. I don't. And they drop Fiendish Ashes, which you can either keep to sell, or I'm going to use them for Power XP, because you might as well. I'd highly recommend at earlier levels using them for Power XP, because 10 XP is pretty good. So I definitely recommend doing that. But what we're going to do is we're going to do this for 15 minutes. There's a timer in the top right. There is now. Oh, there is now. There we go. So we're going to do this 15 minutes, and we'll see how many drops we get, because there's beads and there's mine talismans, which are okay profit as well. So yeah, let's jump in with the timer. I'm just going to pick up other drops as well. So stuff like tinder boxes, which can be decently profitable, which I've already showcased before in another video. Tinder boxes can be quite profitable. Another really cool thing as well is because there are 2 or 3 of them that spawn, by the time you've taken out 1 or 2, the others have respawned anyway. So you're not really waiting around too much, which is quite nice. Because waiting around would absolutely suck if you had to wait, but luckily you don't really. The only annoying thing about imps is they can spawn behind the wall, meaning that if you want to take them out, you have to sometimes go behind the wall to do so. Which is a little bit annoying because, you know, it'd be better if you could just stay on that side. However, you don't usually have to go back too far, so it's not normally a big deal. There you go, he just changed. Fortunately, if you're already attacking one, you can just go after it again, which is nice. Another thing I'd like to point out as well, something else you're going to do, which I'm going to start doing, is holding on to the Fiendish Ashes. Because if we don't get lucky enough to get beads, which we should do, because they're not that rare, then they're still somewhat profitable. Plus, there are other drops like cadaver berries, which are like 300 GP right now, which is pretty good. Of course, all of this is going to be based upon GE pricing at the time, so it's also quite RNG heavy as well, because you are going based upon monster drops. It'd be a similar sort of thing if you're going to, let's say, Ogress Warriors looking for... Oh, Mine Talisman, there we go. It'd be the same sort of thing if we were going to Ogress Warriors, trying to get like rune drops, which are decently rare. I mean, you do get them pretty frequently, but they are still kind of rare. So it's the same sort of thing as that, where like you're basically just hoping that the game's kind of drops it for you. But considering how low requirement this moneymaker is, it's not really a big deal. Ah, white bead, there we go. So there we go, we got our first bead like 5 minutes in, which to be fair, it's the longest I've gone in a while for a bead, so. This is just a really chill moneymaker you can do to get some magic XP, some prayer XP. Oh, blue wizard hat, I'll take that too. But they have a bunch of drops that are kind of worth it, which is quite nice. So it's not just like there's 1, maybe 2 drops that are actually kind of worth it. There's a few that are kind of worth it, not just the beads or the talismans. Even though they're the quote-unquote best drops, there are still other drops that are kind of worth it. But do keep in mind, guys, that this will be based upon GE pricing at the time. Like, if GE pricing for everything is kind of crap, then it's not going to be as profitable to do. However, it's still usually going to be profitable, purely just because of how low you can do this as a requirement. Like, you can do this basically from Tutorial Island. essentially, once you've got the ability to sell at the Grand Exchange, which if you do a couple of quests anyway, you'll get a bit of magic XP, or if you want to splash on like the demon in Lumbridge, Swamp Tower, feel free to do that. Get up to like level 10, and then boom, you're basically set. Because the cost of everything isn't that high, because all you'd need is like an air staff and mind runes, which mind runes are pretty cheap, so you wouldn't really need to worry about that either, which is quite nice. Another thing that seems to be decently common as a drop is cadaver berries, which is actually kind of nice because they are like, right now at least, they're 300 GP, which is not like bead level GP or anything, but it's still decent GP. Like, considering, it's still pretty decent. And we've got cabbage. Another good thing is they do drop food. So if you do need food, at least you can drop, they drop that too, which is quite nice. I don't know why I picked up a book here. That's just not really worth anything. No, dude, attack the imp. There's an imp. Attack the imp. Ooh, nice into the beat. There we go. That's actually really nice. Another good thing as well is with the methods like this is if you go for what I like to call KPH, or kills per hour, like if you're just picking up the major drops like the beads or the cadaver berries, you know, you can get a lot more kills per hour if you're not worried about picking stuff up. I mean, the only reason I'm really picking stuff up is to show you guys what kind of profit it is if you just picked up other bits, because they do drop other drops that are kind of worth its take, even if they're not as expensive. The way I look at money making is that if you can make somewhat a good profit on it, it's worth it. It's like, say for example, you know, like the cadaver berries, which are like 300 GP each. They may not sell for that on the Grand Exchange, however, they shouldn't sell for too much less than that. So they should still be okay profits. Realistically, all you're using is mind runes. Once you've bought the staff, all you're using is mind runes, which are like a few GP each, if not, like, I think it's like 1 GP each. But it's still worth it. Heck yeah, white bead, there we go. Another white bead, damn, I'm getting really lucky with those right now. Ooh, yellow bead, nice. We are picking up a good amount of bead drops now. I like how it's near close to the end of the 15 minutes where we're picking up more beads, but that's quite nice. We've got, what, 5 beads so far, which is pretty good. Plus 1 Mind Talisman, which is not bad either. You know, considering this is within a span of 15 minutes, like, I can't really complain too much because we're not having to do much. Jeez, where did that thing go? What? Oh, it's in there. Damn. Didn't know they could spawn all the way in there. So that happens. You're going to wait for it to respawn out here, which is fine. There are other imps you can attack, so it is fine. That's just ashes. That's fine. Red bead. Let's go. So the only bead we haven't picked up is a black bead. We've picked up one of at least each other kind. So they are like about as rare as each other. I think they're like a 1 in 80 drop or something, which, to be fair, we've gotten a few more than, you know, 1 in 80 chance. So I will take that. Like, the thing is, just because the drop says it's 1 in 80 chance doesn't mean it's 1 in 80 chance. Or rather, it's not a 1 in 80 drop. You can get it more than that, but it's what its average drop rate is, as opposed to what the actual drop rate is, if that makes sense. Should have time to take this one out, and then that'll be it for the timer. Like, we take it out just as the timer ends. Beautiful. So, I'm just going to quickly pick up these ashes. There we go. So, this is our inventory currently. So, we've got a bunch of fiendish ashes, some cadaver berries, a blue as a tat, a mind talisman tinderbox, and 2 tinderboxes, and we've got the beads, which is 3 whites and 2 yellows, which right now I think the white beads are the more expensive ones anyway, so that's no issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the Grand Exchange and go ahead and sell this stuff and see what we end up with. I'm going to quickly deposit all the fiendish ashes because they're going to end up there, which is nice. We've got the air staff, so that's fine. 1, and then Varrock. There we go, beautiful. And Varrock. So we're going to go back to the Grand Exchange and check. I imagine we've made somewhere in the area of like 10 to 15k GP, which for 15 minutes for like such a low requirement moneymaker, not bad at all. Yeah, roughly 15 minutes. So if you break that across 4 times, averagely you could expect to make like, I'd say anywhere from 30 to 75k per hour. It will vary quite heavily based upon your drop rates and where you go to take out imps, because imps do spawn in a bunch of places. Like, they spawn here as well, but only 1 does, I think. Whereas down there are 3 that spawn. Alright, we need to grab the fiendish ashes. But fiendish ashes are like 10 prayer XP each, so you might as well just do that for prayer. Excuse me. I'm currently sick right now, so I do apologize for any coughing or spluttering. So averagely right now, they're going for 122, which is fine. We're going to drop it by 5%. There we go. They sold, so that's 1.5k. And then we've got the cadaver berries, which are currently going for 328, which is actually quite nice. We'll just sell those. They will sell 980, so that's 2.5k. And then we've got the tinder boxes, which are currently going for 93, so we'll just sell those. There we go. So that's 302. The Mind Talisman, which is currently going for 1147, so we're going to drop that down to 1108, see if it sells. Nope, we'll leave that in for a minute, that's fine. Talismans are a bit sketchy, they can or won't sell sometimes, it's a bit weird. There we go, so there's that. We'll get rid of the red beads, that's currently going for that, see if it sells. It does. We're on 4k, and then if we go to yellow bead, sell both. They're currently going for that, which they're not selling, which is fine, we'll drop it a little bit more. You can leave it in as well if you want to sell for a higher price. I don't recommend it for such low volume items, but there we go. My talisman sold. We'll drop the price of the yellow beads a bit, which is fine. They should still sell for a decent profit. There we go. That's 3k from them. And then the white beads, which are currently selling for 3135. We'll drop it down to 2965. No, they're not selling. That's fine. Again, for such low volume items, you know, sometimes they won't sell for the higher prices. There we go. So we've got 8.6k. So we've got 17k from 15 minutes of work, which, again, average it up to like 4 times. You're looking at around about, that's about 70, 80k. But that's if you have decent RNG. I would argue that anywhere per hour for like a newer account, you're looking anywhere from like 30k to 70k per hour plus, depending on how lucky you are with bead drops. Or if you just collect beads, which I don't recommend doing, but if you just collect beads, you could probably earn a lot more depending on your RNG. yeah, let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below. Don't forget you can also support the channel further by becoming a channel member from as little as 99 pence per month. And don't forget I do live stream. When I go live here on YouTube and over on Twitch. My streams here on YouTube are in the shorts form feed, some more for mobile. If you want to catch the exact same streams at the exact same time in full 1080p, feel free to join me on Twitch. That link is in the description below.